Lightning split the sky the night he was born. Electricity followed him all his life, in his inventions, in his dreams, in his visions. But who was he really? A brilliant genius? Or a mad dreamer? This is the story of Nikola Tesla. 1856, Austrian Empire. On a stormy night in the village of Smiljan, a boy was born. The midwife, frightened by the lightning, whispered,
"A child of darkness."
But his mother replied,
"No, a child of light."
Nikola's childhood, however, was far from easy. At the age of 5, he witnessed the tragic death of his brother, thrown from a horse, a memory that scarred him for life. Soon after, he nearly died of cholera. For 9 long months he lay between life and death. His father made him a promise. "If you survive, I will not force you to become a priest. You will be free to study science." And Nikola survived. Even as a boy, Tesla showed an extraordinary memory, a gift inherited from his mother. He could recite poems, books, even entire volumes, word for word. His teachers often accused him of cheating, unable to believe a child could recall so much, so perfectly. And then, one winter evening, as he stroked his black cat, he suddenly saw sparks jumping between his fingers and the animal's fur. The sight left him stunned. That small miracle burned into his memory, and from that night on, electricity became his lifelong obsession. As he grew older, Nikola enrolled at the Technical University of Graz. At first, he amazed his professors with his brilliant knowledge and extraordinary memory. But soon he fell into a different obsession: cards and gambling. He lost money, skipped lectures, and eventually he was expelled. Ashamed, Tesla cut ties with his family. For months they believed he was dead. He worked as a draftsman in Maribor, trying to rebuild his life from nothing. But fate struck again. The following year his father died. Nikola returned home in grief, yet deep inside burned the stubborn will to prove to the world he was destined for science. After his father's death, Nikola tried to start a new life. At first, he worked as a teacher in a small high school, but he soon realized his true place was in engineering. In Budapest, he joined a telegraph company, where his talent as an engineer quickly stood out. And it was here that the idea first struck him, the concept of an electric motor powered by alternating current. In 1882, Tesla moved to Paris and joined the Continental Edison Company. There he repaired electrical machines and soon gained a reputation as a man who could solve problems others could not. 2 years later, in 1884, he was sent across the ocean to the very heart of progress, America. But the journey was dramatic. On the ship, he was robbed. He arrived in New York with almost nothing. According to legend, just 4 cents in his pocket. And yet, even that did not stop him. Soon, Nikola Tesla found work in the company of none other than Thomas Edison. It was the beginning of a turbulent new chapter in his life. In New York, Tesla found work at Edison Machine Works. The young engineer impressed everyone. He could work tirelessly on generators, finding solutions where others gave up. One day, he was promised an incredible reward, $50,000 if he could improve the equipment. For an immigrant, it was a fortune beyond imagination. Tesla completed the task, but when he came to collect his reward, he was met with a cold laugh. "You just don't understand our American humor." The joke hit him like ice water. Offended and deeply disappointed, Tesla walked away from Edison's company. But the real battle was only beginning. Edison insisted on direct current, expensive, inefficient, and limited. Tesla, however, was convinced the future belonged to alternating current. To discredit his rival, Edison turned to dark publicity. He funded public shows where animals were electrocuted with a C, and it was alternating current that powered the first execution in the electric chair. But Tesla refused to give up. In his own demonstrations, he let arcs of electricity pass through his body, proving to the audience that his system was safe. Crowds saw it as a thrilling spectacle, but behind the show was a true scientific revolution. And so began the War of Currents, the battle that would decide the future of modern energy. In 1893, at the World's Fair in Chicago, an event took place that forever changed history. Hundreds of thousands of light bulbs, powered by Tesla's alternating current, lit up the entire fairgrounds. For visitors, it was pure magic. Night had turned into day. For Tesla and Westinghouse, it was triumph. The world had witnessed the true power of AC. 2 years later, another dream became reality. The first large-scale hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. It brought electricity to the city of Buffalo, and soon to the entire region. This became the ultimate symbol of victory for alternating current over direct current. Tesla was now a star of science. His laboratory was visited by some of the most famous figures of the era, among them the writer Mark Twain, who marveled at Tesla's experiments and even took part in them. Their friendship was one of the rare, warm, and human moments in the inventor's life. After the triumph of alternating current, Tesla threw himself into new experiments. His name appeared more and more often in newspapers. He had become a symbol of scientific progress. But in 1895, tragedy struck. His Manhattan laboratory went up in flames. Years of work, notes, devices, prototypes vanished overnight. For most, it would have been the end, but Tesla started again from nothing. One of his most famous creations was the Tesla Coil. Massive arcs of electricity shot out like artificial lightning, turning his lab into a spectacle. For the public, it was pure theater. For science, it was a revolution, paving the way for radio and wireless power. Even before Wilhelm Röntgen announced his discovery, Tesla was experimenting with X-rays. He produced some of the first X-ray images, including one of his own hand, but he never rushed to patent his work, and the credit went elsewhere. In 1898, he shocked audiences once again by unveiling a radio-controlled boat. People refused to believe it was real. Some whispered about magic, others suspected a hidden operator. In truth, it was the world's first demonstration of remote control, the ancestor of modern drones. Tesla also patented key technologies that laid the foundation for radio. But here came one of the bitterest chapters of his life. The Italian inventor Guglielmo Marconi used Tesla's patents and managed to send the first transatlantic radio signal. The Nobel Prize went to Marconi, while Tesla's name was left in the shadows. It was one of those cruel moments in history when a genius gave the world the ideas, but the glory went to others. At the dawn of the 20th century, Tesla embarked on the boldest project of his life. He dreamed of a system that could send energy wirelessly to any point on Earth. Free electricity for everyone, no matter the distance. That was his vision. His investor was none other than one of the world's most powerful bankers, J.P. Morgan. With Morgan's money, a massive structure began to rise on Long Island, the Wardenclyffe Tower. It was meant to become the heart of a new era of energy. But fate struck again. In 1901, Guglielmo Marconi sent the first transatlantic radio signal. Investors lost faith in Tesla's dream. Funding stopped. Construction froze. Eventually, the tower was torn down for scrap. And yet, the legends never died. Witnesses swore they saw strange flashes of light and bursts of electricity around the tower, as if the very atmosphere responded to Tesla's experiments. For some, it was just spectacle. For others, proof that Tesla had truly opened the door to wireless energy. Over time, Tesla's fame began to fade. His great projects remained unfinished, and investors turned away. He spent more and more time alone, shutting himself off from the world with his peculiar rituals. Tesla had strong obsessions. He feared germs, constantly washing his hands, going through dozens of napkins a day. In the hotels where he lived, he demanded only white towels and white dishes. He couldn't even look at pearls. They filled him with disgust, as if they were diseased growths. And a single strand of fallen hair would make him recoil. His life was ruled by numbers. He often said that 3, 6, and 9 were the keys to the universe. Even his daily walks had to be counted, with the number of steps carefully matching those figures. Tesla never married. He believed relationships with women could distract him from science. Yet, he admitted, one day, the intellect and talent of women would surpass men's and change the world. In his old age, his closest companions became birds. Every day he went to the park to feed pigeons, and he cared deeply for one white dove in particular. He said he loved her as a man loves a woman, and that she loved him in return. To outsiders, it seemed strange, but for Tesla, that bird was the last true affection of his life. Even in his later years, Tesla continued to astonish the world with bold claims. He spoke of a death ray, a weapon powerful enough to bring down airplanes from hundreds of kilometers away. Governments showed interest, but no working prototype was ever revealed. Another of his inventions was the so-called earthquake machine. Legend has it that when Tesla activated his mechanical oscillator in his New York lab, buildings began to shake across Manhattan. Even the police showed up. Tesla reportedly shut it off just in time and said with a smile, "I could have destroyed the entire city if I wanted to." There's also a story of financial sacrifice. It said that Tesla gave up millions in royalties to help George Westinghouse save his company. Had he not, Tesla might have become the world's first billionaire. Historians still debate the truth of that tale. But one thing is clear. For Tesla, science always mattered more than money. On January 7, 1943, in the New Yorker hotel, Nikola Tesla was found dead. He was 86. He lived alone in his room, in poverty and obscurity, surviving on milk, crackers, and endless cups of coffee. His last true companions were the pigeons he fed every day. After his death, FBI agents were the first to enter his room. They seized more than 80 boxes of notes and blueprints. Some were eventually returned, but rumors of the missing Tesla papers persist to this day. Conspiracy theorists believe they contained designs for the death ray, or the secrets of free energy. The irony of fate was that the very same year, the U.S. Supreme Court declared, the true inventor of radio was not Marconi, but Tesla. It was a late but crucial recognition of his genius. Today, his name lives on in streets, museums, and in Tesla Motors. His coils still dazzle crowds with lightning shows. And his ideas continue to inspire new dreamers. Nikola Tesla died alone, but he left behind a legacy that powers our world. A man who saw the future where others saw only madness. Nikola Tesla, a genius who lived on the edge of science and mysticism. His life reminds us that great ideas often arrive before their time. And perhaps that is why he remains the most mysterious inventor of the 20th century.